Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we peel back the curtain on the corporate world to reveal what is really going on, often with a little wink and a nod to the juicy details you won't find in the press releases. Today we are diving into a filing that promises some interesting tidbits from SS Innovations International, Incorporated. SS Innovations International Incorporated filing their latest report. It is one of those documents that looks like a dry legal paper, but if you know where to look, it is packed with clues about what a company is doing or planning to do. Stick around because we're going to decode this and tell you what it means for you. Also, if you like getting these kinds of no-nonsense breakdowns of corporate happenings, make sure you subscribe, and hey, we've started a Discord community where we chat about these things and more. So if that sounds like your kind of thing, the link is in the description box below. Alright, let's get right into it. We've got SS Innovations International Incorporated filing its Form 8. This is a report that companies file when something significant happens, something that shareholders and investors need to know about quickly. Think of it as an urgent bulletin from the company. The key date here is the 28th of October 2025. This tells us when the company is reporting, and it also indicates the earliest event that triggered this report. It is like the company is saying, hey, something important happened on or before this date and we need to tell you about it. The company name itself, SS Innovations International Incorporated, tells us a bit. They're an international company and innovations suggest they are focused on new ideas or products. We also see their state of incorporation, Florida, and their commission file number and IRS employer identification number, which are important for official purposes, but not super exciting for us regular folks. Interestingly, their common stock, traded under the ticker symbol SSY on the Nasdaq Stock Market LLC, is the main way people can invest in this company. This means that whatever happens with SS Innovations International Incorporated directly impacts the value of that stock. Now, this is where things get interesting. They're telling us about a press release they issued on the 28th of October 2025. This press release talks about their results of operations for the 3 and 9 month periods that ended on the 30th of September 2025. Essentially, they're sharing their financial performance from the last quarter and the year so far. This press release is attached as Exhibit 99.1. What is crucial to understand is that according to the filing, this information is considered furnished and not filed. This is a bit of legal jargon, but it essentially means they're providing this information for transparency, but they are not taking on the same level of legal responsibility for it as they would if it were filed in a more permanent way. It does not get incorporated into other filings automatically. This section highlights something very important for any investor forward-looking statements. The company is warning us that some things they say might not be historical facts. They use words like anticipate, believe, estimate, and expect to point these out. They're telling us that the future performance of SS Innovations International Incorporated might be different from what they currently anticipate due to various risks and uncertainties. They explicitly state that you should not place undue reliance on these statements because there are known and unknown risks that could seriously change the actual results. They also point to their other filings like the annual report on Form 10K and quarterly reports on Form 10Q. For a more detailed discussion of these risks, this is a standard but vital disclaimer for any company, reminding everyone that the future is uncertain and past performance is not always indicative of future results. The most important exhibit here is Exhibit 99.1, the press release, because the main body of the 8K filing itself doesn't go into the financial details. All the juicy financial meat is in that press release, which we will now discuss as if we are looking at it. So, jumping into what that press release likely contains, and based on the context of an 8K filing tied to Item 2.02 results of operations and financial condition. This is where we'd expect the core financial numbers to be. While we don't have the actual press release content here, we can infer the types of figures they would be discussing based on typical SEC filings. They would be reporting on their revenue, profits, or losses, and possibly key performance indicators related to their business operations for the 3 and 9 month periods ending the 30th of September 2025. Let's imagine the press release shows their revenue for the 3 months ended the 30th of September 2025 was, say, $50 million. That sounds like a solid number, but what does it really mean? To understand if $50 million is good, we need to compare it. If last year for the same period it was $40 million, that is a 25% increase. That is pretty good. It means they're bringing in significantly more money, which could be due to selling more products or services, or perhaps raising prices. However, if last year it was $60 million, then a drop to $50 million signals a 16.7% decrease in revenue, which would be a red flag. It could mean they are losing customers, facing tougher competition, or their products are becoming less popular. Then there is the bottom line net income or profit. if their net income for the same 3-month period was $5 million and last year it was $3 million. That is a healthy 66.7% increase in profit. This means not only are they making more money, but they're also keeping more of it after all their expenses. That is often a sign of improving efficiency or stronger pricing power. But if net income plunged from $7 million to $5 million, that is a 28.6% drop in profit. Even if revenue stayed the same or grew slightly, a falling profit means their costs are increasing faster than their income. This could be due to rising raw material costs, increased marketing expenses, or operational inefficiencies. For the 9-month period, which shows the year-to-date performance, we'd look at cumulative figures. If their 9-month revenue grew from $120 million to $150 million, that is a 25% increase over the first 3 quarters of the year. This signals consistent growth, but if for the same period their net income dropped from $20 million to $18 million, that is a 10% decrease. While revenue is up, their ability to convert that revenue into profit has weakened. This might indicate increased investment in growth, such as research and development or expanding into new markets, which might hurt short-term profits but could pay off in the long run. Or it could be a sign of rising operational costs that are eating into their margins. The key here is not just the raw numbers, but the trends and the comparisons. Are they growing? Is that growth profitable? Are their expenses under control? This is what investors scrutinize to understand the financial health and future prospects of SS Innovations International Incorporated. Finally, the filing includes an interactive data file, often in what's called inline XBRL. This is a more structured way of presenting financial data, making it easier for computers and software to read and analyze. Think of it as supercharged spreadsheets embedded within the document that can be easily pulled out and processed by financial analysis tools. It is a step towards making financial data more accessible and standardized. One signatures now, let's look at who is making these statements. This report is dated the 28th of October 2025, the same day they issued the press release, and it is signed by Sudhi Srivastav, Maryland, who holds the positions of Chairman and Chief Executive Officer. When the CEO and Chairman signs off on a filing like this, it carries weight, indicating that the company's top leadership is presenting this information. It signifies their endorsement of the contents, including the forward looking statements and the reported results. Looking at SS Innovations International Incorporated based on this type of filing, they appear to be a company in growth mode, or at least trying to project that image. They are publicly traded, meaning they are subject to scrutiny from investors and the market. The emphasis on innovation suggests a strategy focused on developing new products or services, which is often a high-risk, high-reward path. The fact that they are filing an 8K specifically to highlight results of operations means they want to get that financial performance data out to the public quickly, especially if it is positive. However, remember that forward-looking statements warning, a lot can change. External factors like economic downturns, shifts in consumer demand, or new competitor products can impact their actual future performance significantly. For investors, the key is to look beyond the headline numbers in the press release mentioned in the 8K and dig into the accompanying financial statements that would have been part of that exhibit. What are their expenses doing? How much debt do they have? Are they spending wisely to fuel that innovation? Without seeing the detailed financials, it's premature to give a stamp of approval or condemnation. But the filing itself tells us they are actively managing their public image and financial reporting, especially around their quarterly performance. Alright, that is our breakdown of this SS Innovations International Incorporated filing. What is your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps. And subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.